Welcome back, everybody. We are keeping the topic serious, but changing the topic a little bit, and we are speaking about meeting the candidates. On Monday, the 25th, will be the THA elections, and joining me via Zoom this morning is two representatives, one for Canaan Bonaccord Tobago, that would be Clarence Jacob. The second is Marslyn Melville Jack, who is the representative, or the candidate rather, for Scarborough Calder Hall in Tobago for those electoral districts. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Harry.
Yes, thank you for joining me this morning. And, we're just a few days away from the day in which Tobago elects their representatives for the electoral districts. So I'll start off with you, Clarence Jacob. Now you're the candidate for Canaan Bonaccord in Tobago. What would you say is the first thing you would need to do should you win the seat for that electoral district?
All right, good morning again. Good morning to all of Tobago. The first thing I would do, I would focus on the present situation, whereby there's the relocation process taking place. I would want to make sure that persons are very, very comfortable and being dealt with in a manner where they are satisfied. So that is the first thing, because that is the thing that is active at the moment. But once re-elected into office, I would want to deal firstly with the drainage issue in the area of Canaan Bonaccord.
So we're speaking infrastructure. Let's jump to you now, Marslyn. What do you believe is the first thing that you should do for your electoral district should you win the seat?
Well, good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. And let me shout out the residents of Scarborough Calder Hall. Now, the first thing that I would do when I get into office is to ensure that a bridge is constructed for the residents of Adelphi Phase 3, who have been clamoring for this for a very long time before the rainy season begins and the river starts getting high again. I would like to know that that bridge is in place. But once elected to office, or should I say when I am elected to office, I too would like to tackle the problem of drainage, because you would realize that in Tobago, most communities may have the same issues of drainage and in some cases, youth unemployment.
And so the drainage issue would have to do with the topography of the land and sloping land and hills being cleared years ago, which would cause erosion and such. What do you think when it comes to the drainage? Oftentimes, even here in Trinidad, we see that just doing drain work and putting in extra drainage and the box drains and what's not, it is oftentimes not enough to curb the flooding to any great degree that would really alleviate the problem itself. If you had to do something further than that, and of course it would take funding, what would that something be?
Well, it will be collaborating with the engineers in the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Environment, because most of the infrastructure is antiquated and that needs to be resolved because the sides of the drains are collapsing, and it's those sediments that are left in the drains that cause the flooding. So if we can put in a fresh new infrastructure, clear the drains, I am pretty sure that we will be able to alleviate the flooding, or should I say, the severity of flooding in Scarborough Calder Hall.
Now, one common thread I've heard from many of the candidates I've spoken to, it's that youth unemployment and youth underemployment is a huge issue and one that needs attending to rather quickly. Let's start with you, Clarence. How do you intend to tackle that pressing issue?
All right. Well, we have to focus on the different entities. We have agriculture. We also have the construction of the international airport. And we as a people must be prepared both skillfully and with through education, because there will be opportunities coming at us, but we have to make sure we are prepared. So I will encourage the youths to not only look for the URP jobs, but they should be able to go and educate themselves or develop their skills, because in the area of Canaan, Bonaccord, and Crown Point, I would say that we maybe have the most tradesmen, because we had a trade school in the area. And once they are prepared to enhance their talents, the opportunities would come to them in the near future, because with development of the airport, you have a lot of construction, you will have houses, the relocation processes, there will be houses to be constructed, etc. So this 2021 and beyond, maybe for the next 3 or 4 or 5 years, Tobago will be seeing a lot of opportunities, but we must be ready to grasp at the opportunities.
Would you say that the youth have enough access to trade schools and the like and other forms of development and education? Do you think that the youth have enough access to these things to be able to equip themselves with the tools needed to be qualified for such jobs?
Yes, I know there are a lot of skilled persons there, but we just have to guide them. The youths in the area need a little guidance, and sometimes they need a little push. What we could do as the government, we could assist them through maybe BDU, etc., educate them about BDU, and also in Miss Marslyn Jack's division, there's an area where she'll be able to guide them, educate them where they will be able to access for tools or maybe a startup to start their own businesses, etc.
That segues nicely into the same question to you, Marslyn. When it comes to youth unemployment and underemployment, how do you intend to tackle that in your electoral district?
Well, since I've been Secretary for Community Development, Enterprise Development and Labor, within that division, there is vocational skills training, and this training takes place in every electoral district at the community facilities. The problem that we are having is having the persons who are unemployed passionate enough about their dreams to come forward and access these opportunities. Opportunities have been available for more than, I would say, 10 years. So what I suggest doing is, as Clarence said, having the members of the business development unit go into the communities and meet the young people where they are so that they can start the conversation. Because our theme says, building Tobago together. So it means that we have to meet each other somewhere. That's one. I also believe that the mentorship of young people should be done by young people themselves who have succeeded. And once they can identify with this success, I think it will give them the push that is required to access the numerous opportunities that are available. Not only is there training, but there is funding. There is a seamless transition from vocational skills training to accessing grants as startups for businesses. And I believe that once we can enthuse them to come on board, we can do so much more for youth employment.
And yeah, that in itself would solve, would help to solve at least one of the major pressing issues. Another common thread, having spoken to a number of candidates, is that a lot of them are speaking about agro-processing and the downstream industries of agriculture. What's your take on it, Marslyn?
I can tell you that right now there are many, many small entrepreneurs in Tobago doing agro-processing at this time. And it is one of the fastest growing businesses on the island. Eventually, we may get saturated. So I would like to see people thinking beyond agro-processing. What is your passion? Because if you are passionate about something, you would devote so much time and attention to that craft that, you would become successful. I want to agree with Clarence that there are so many opportunities that will be coming on stream. So what I would suggest to the young people who already have those skills in contracting and building, that they form themselves together into companies, which would make them better able to tender for some of these jobs that will be upcoming. So that's another avenue that I would like to pursue, getting them together, forming that skill bank and forming a company which can tender effectively for the projects that will be coming on stream.
Clarence, how are you ready and able to support young people in starting businesses and these things? as well. As Marslyn was just alluding to, you know, young people coming together, pooling their skills and their knowledge and forming businesses so that they can tender for these projects. How do you intend in your electoral district to support that type of entrepreneurship?
Right, with regards to the development taking place, let me say, for example, agriculture. The THA, when we are there, I would try to initiate to tap into markets, external markets, maybe in Trinidad, and maybe we could speak to the ambassadors who are responsible for different countries. For example, Mr. London was in England. We should have tapped into him. After we do the processing of these products, we could also supply Trinidad. And if we outgrow the Trinidad market, then we could make some nexus with the ambassadors out there to see if we could supply the external market.
Mr. Jacob, sorry, I do have to stick a pin in it there. We do have to wrap for time. But I want to thank you both for your time this morning, and I wish you the best coming up on Monday for the THA elections.
Thank you so much.
Have a great morning.